Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. We are going to dive into the top 6 Reels mistakes that I see brands consistently making over and over and over again when it comes to their Reels strategy and the Reels that they are creating. So if you're wondering what those big mistakes are, you want to make sure you're not making those mistakes, be sure to tune into this entire video so you can make sure you avoid them. Make sure you're not making these mistakes that I think are holding you back from actually growing with Reels. And if you haven't already, if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe and watch my free Reels class. The link is right down below this video. Completely free 1-hour class on how to grow your reach, followers, and customers with Instagram Reels. And now let's go ahead and jump into what those mistakes are. First mistake that I see a lot of you guys making when it comes to Instagram Reels and how you are thinking about them is spending way too much time worrying about hashtags or what time of day to post. So I kind of lumped these two into one mistake and basically give you a bonus mistake. And it's really just focusing on things that don't necessarily make or break your Reels, right? So the time of day you post and things like hashtags can play a small role into how your Reels are going to do, but from the testing that I've done and what I have seen and in helping hundreds of students with Reels, it doesn't make or break your Reels. Again, if we, I say this over and over on my channel, but if we think about what is Instagram's main goal when it comes to the users who come onto their platform, and that is for them to spend more time on their platform than other platforms, to spend as much time as possible to keep them on the platform. And if we're helping Instagram with that goal, if we post at the wrong time of day or don't use the right hashtags, that just doesn't add up, right? Like if our content's actually good and it's helping Instagram with what they want and what they want their users to experience on the app, we don't need to be worrying about hashtags. We don't need to be worrying about posting at the right time of day, because in the end, I think like 95% of your Reels are gonna do as good as they're gonna do no matter what time of day you post it or what hashtags that you use. Can those things maybe boost that other 5% of Reels that maybe wouldn't do as well if you had, posted it earlier or later or whatever? Maybe, right? And those things can be good things, having a certain time of day you post and maybe using some hashtags. But even Instagram isn't really prioritizing hashtags as much nowadays. And I really don't, I think in the end, a Reel is going to do well if it's going to do well. And the time of day you post just doesn't really matter as much as you think. I also have an entire video on this channel about why I've stopped using hashtags in 2022. If that interests you at all, we'll be sure to have a link down below so you can tune into that after this video. Mistake number 2 that I see a lot of brands making when it comes to Instagram Reels is really only focusing on how many views they got, or focusing on just trying to go viral, okay? So I want you to stop thinking about that. I want you to not only focus on views, but engagement matters way more than views. And even past that, engaged, genuine followers of your brand matter more than just the number of followers you're gaining or the amount of views that you're getting. And while those things can be good things, right? It can be really cool to have a Reel start to pick up and to gain a lot of views. But in the end, think about what do you want your end goal to be? And if it's just to get a bunch of views, I guarantee that's really not going to get you anywhere. Views don't matter if you don't have an engaged community. And so focusing on your community is going to take you so much further than just trying to focus on like how many views that you're getting on your Reels. And I also want to encourage you here that it is completely normal to not really get more views than maybe you have followers. I just kind of use this as a good rule of thumb. Like even if you go to my Instagram account at Stephanie Lynn Case, you'll see like a lot of my Reels don't get more than the amount of followers, like don't get more views than the amount of followers that I have, and that's completely okay. That's completely normal. The goal is not for every reel to go viral, right? It's just, every once in a while you'll probably have one that picks up a lot of traction outside of your own audience, and the other ones, they might get seen by some people outside of your audience, but it's totally okay if, you're not getting thousands of views on Reels, or if one does really well and then one doesn't seem to do as well. Again, I would rather you be making Reels that actually make an impact for growing your community than just focusing on views. Mistake number 3 that I see a lot of brands making when it comes to Instagram Reels is only copying trends for Reels. Okay, So hear me out, because if you have subscribed to me for a while, you're probably thinking, but Stephanie, like, you basically tell us to do trends. And yes, trends are incredible. Trends are an amazing way to jump on basically what's happening and what's relevant with Reels, and to kind of join in the conversation of what might be relevant and put your own spin on it. But what I want you to avoid doing is to only be copying Reels that you see, trying to do the exact same motions, the exact same text, the exact same movements. Make sure you're putting your own spin on it. So whenever you are doing trends, it's actually better to find trends that are starting to pick up, or that you see happening in another niche, or you don't see people in your own niche doing a lot of, and then be able to like put your own creative spin on it, right? So doing your own text or using the audio for something completely different in a way that applies to your niche. I think that's going to have more impact than simply just copying and using the same text in a trend as, 100 other people in your exact same category or niche, or, whatever type of brand that you have. So I just want you to make sure that you are using these trends to stand out and not blend in, okay? So make sure that you are trying to put your own original creative spin on trends and not always just copying exactly what the trend is, if that makes sense. I could even take this a step further and say, don't only make trends. Like, do different types of Reels. See what works for your account, right? Do different, face to camera, lip sync, or, even like original Reels where it's not even a trend. Do a variety of different things. Don't only focus on trends, and beyond that, don't focus on just straight up copying trends instead of being inspired by them. Mistake number 4 is, and actually before I get to that mistake, I do want to mention here, if you haven't signed up for that free Reels class yet, be sure to do that, the link right down below. If you're loving what I'm sharing in this video so far, I guarantee you're going to absolutely love that class. We've had hundreds of you go through it and absolutely be like completely obsessed with it and just have so many ideas afterwards. So be sure to sign up for that. But anyway, so mistake number 4 is making Reels that don't make sense. And so what I mean by this is something that I think that I see a lot of brands doing, and I think it is a big mistake, is, again, almost going back to this idea of trying to create Reels just to go viral. And the thing is, if you are making Reels that, or you're just trying to get more views or go viral, that have absolutely nothing to do with your niche or your account, they're not going to make an impact for your account at all. And I would hate to see that happen. I hate seeing it happen for brands. And so you want to make sure that the Reels you're creating make sense for your account. Like, it just makes sense, right? And so if someone is to, with Reels, a lot of the people who are viewing your Reels actually have never heard of your brands. They don't follow you. They're just seeing you randomly in their Reels tab. And so you want to make sure that if they see the Reel and then they go over to your account, that they're like, oh, like that makes sense. Like, I watched that Reel, and then I go to this account and it's about, very similar topics, or they have a bunch of similar Reels or videos or posts about the same topic that I can binge listen to or binge watch, right? And then they just start falling in love with your brand and then want to follow you. And so you need to make sure that the Reels just make sense. Not that you can't incorporate, maybe more funny Reels or personal Reels. I certainly do that time to time, but as a part of your Reel strategy as a whole, you want like probably at least 90% of your Reels to relate back to your niche. Because if you have a Reel that has nothing to do with your niche and it goes viral, while it might gain you some followers, it's not going to get you as far as if it's a Reel that's related to your niche or has something to do with what you offer. It might, maybe you won't go as mega viral as like a funny video of your dog or something, but it's definitely going to get you in front of the right people who are then going to follow your brand and actually push you forward and grow your community. And so make sure your Reels just make sense. Mistake number 5 I see a lot of brands making now is only posting Reels. And I actually don't think I've mentioned this on my YouTube before. So if you've stuck around this far in the video, you're in for a treat. But something that I've realized, especially moving into 2022, while Instagram is definitely prioritizing things like Reels to get in front of a new audience, and is definitely making it, and making video as a whole, super, like they're prioritizing that on their app. That doesn't mean we need to neglect other things about the Instagram app. And something that I've realized as my audience has continued to grow on Instagram, something that can actually be a struggle about, reaching a new audience with Reels, gaining new followers, is that maybe those followers aren't as engaged yet. And so you have to put in the work to make sure that you are bringing them into your community, that you are helping them to engage with you and your account. And the way that you're going to do that is by utilizing a lot of Instagram's different features, which a lot of them are video. So the fact that Instagram is prioritizing video, like you're still doing that using some of these other features. But if you're only posting Reels over and over and over and over, and you're not using, stories and guides and regular like video posts or regular photo posts or Instagram lives, if you're not like incorporating some of those other things that do a really good job of bringing your audience in and feeling more connected to you, you're missing out on a big opportunity to grow that connection with your audience. And so Reels is really the way that Reels is right now currently is it does a really good job of getting your brand and your account in front of new eyes, which is so cool and can grow your audience so fast. But make sure that you're still utilizing some of Instagram's other features. And I know for me, moving into 2022, I'm making sure that I'm not only posting Reels, but posting more photo posts, and pulling people into having a call to action, having conversations with my audience, posting stories, and making sure that even more like question box stories and doing Q&As and polls and things like that to help my audience feel more connected to me. Or even Instagram lives are something that I've been really enjoying doing, and it's such a great audience connection building element, I guess you would say, or building peace. I don't know, something like that. You know what I mean? It's a great way for people to feel connected to you more as a brand. And so yeah, just make sure you're not only posting Reels every single day. Make sure you're utilizing some of Instagram's other features on the app, because once they follow you, you want to make sure that you have content that you're like engaging with your audience and building that connection with them so they don't just become stagnant followers that don't know who you are anymore. Mistake number 6 that I see a lot of brands making when it comes to Reels, and this is more from a time management consistency perspective, but it's not batch recording your Reels. And so something that I hear from a lot of brands is, well, but I feel like I don't have enough time to even create Reels, or they just take way too much of my time. And my number one tip here is make sure that you are batch recording. And essentially it's the idea of creating or filming a bunch of Reels at one time instead of, having to create a new Reel every single day. Have one day where you're creating Reels for the entire month, and then you have things to post for weeks. And this is a strategy that I've used within my own brand that has worked really well, and that has been really awesome for me, not only me, but also for my students within the Reels mini course. This is something that I teach and that I show you how to do in that course. And it's been really cool just to see like how much time so many of us can save. If you're going to go through the effort of setting up your space and getting yourself ready I know for me, that means getting my hair and makeup done and getting dressed and having outfits planned and all of that. If I'm going to go through all of that effort, I want to film as many Reels as possible. And I've even gotten to the point where I can easily film maybe 15 to 20 Reels in one sitting. So if that's something that you would be excited to learn more about, again, that free Reels class, I know we mentioned a couple of times, but I actually go over it in that class and some tips on that. So be sure to jump into that down below. All right, and then I actually have a bonus mistake number 7. So if you haven't clicked out yet, I actually have a 7th mistake that I thought of while I was filming this video. And that mistake that I see a lot of brands making is deleting Reels, or being tempted to delete your Reels. I want to encourage you that I wouldn't delete past Reels that you've created, if at all possible, if you can help yourself from doing it. Because the reason I say that is even if you post a Reel and it doesn't do well, again, going back to if your Reels make sense for your brand, if they're doing a good job attracting the right people, have confidence in that. Don't only look at the views and engagement as a measure of how well something is done. You can use that to help guide you in what kind of content your audience likes and what you might want to make more in the future, but still have confidence in what you've shared if you know it's great content. And another thing too, when it comes to this idea of deleting Reels, is that Reels can actually take off weeks after you post them. In fact, most of my Reels that end up, going viral or, getting thousands and thousands of views usually don't start getting those views until at least a week after I post them. So it takes some time for Instagram to decide whether or not it wants to push it out to thousands more people outside of your own audience. Again, don't focus on engagement and just the views too much right away. Give it some time and see, and you never know. I've even had Reels like a month later start taking off and randomly just start getting all of these views. And so you have no idea what could happen. So I encourage you to don't delete your Reels. That is a mistake I've seen some ask me about or think about doing. And yeah, I would just say, don't do it. Just leave your Reels. You never know what can happen. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We upload new videos like this every Tuesday to help you grow confidently with content for your brand. And so we would love to help you more with that. We also have a free Reels growth Facebook community. So if you are subscribed to my channel for a while, or even if you're new around here, it's a place that I created to help you guys connect with each other, ask questions, get feedback, get help with Reels. And so yeah, we'll have a link to that right down below as well. I feel like there's so many links that I dropped in this video. So if you're wondering about anything, the links will be right below this video. Yeah, and I think that's it. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.